Welcome back once again to another edition of Let's Play World Class Championship Wrestling 1983. Now, I know in the last few months, or in the last month or so, these videos have lacked consistency, but like I mentioned in the last video, that I would try very hard to make sure that videos remain consistent from here on out, because the last thing I want is for you to lose interest in this series, because I want you to be even more excited about this series than I am. With that being said, things will begin to become more consistent. I'm not going to say that all the videos, all the Let's Play series will be accounted for on a weekly basis, but I will say this, that they will at least be accounted for on a bi-weekly basis. Because even with WWE 2015's Let's Play out of the way, we still have the Invasion in the early stages. This in the early stages. TNA finally turning around. And WCW also in the early stages of turning around and setting up for the long-term plans and the big plans for the year 2000. I know that this series is a little bit different because it isn't just about rebooking a company or booking a company or playing as a company. It's also a little bit more also having to do with educating you on wrestling's past, which is something that I very much value and very much think is not talked about and not taken as seriously as it should be by the public, because people should be paying attention more to the history and care a little bit more about the history. But they don't. So that's what this series, Reliving the Territories, is designed for. It's designed to help you not care more, learn more. And now that explanation's out of the way, let's jump into this week's episode of World Class Television. As things kick off with the opening match, as Thunderfoot 2 and Thunderfoot 3 to be exact, Thunderfoot 1 is still injured, get the victory over Frankie Lancaster and Wendell Cooley. to be exact, Thunderfoot 2 gets the win over Frankie Lancaster, and though you can't see it, well, actually you can right here. It says Thunderfoot 3 carried the match. The reason is because Thunderfoot 1 and Thunderfoot 2 are the actual people who don the mask as the Thunderfoots. But Thunderfoot 3 never actually donned the mask. The only reason why he's a part of the faction now, or the trio, is because of poor chemistry that existed between the original two Thunderfoots. So I wanted to keep the gimmick, so I added somebody new to the stable. But it was somebody who could work. Sort of the same thing like I did with El Hijo del Tejas' gimmick. I gave it to somebody who I knew could work, so the in-ring performance would be high, even if his popularity isn't. Now we head to the first segment of the show, as Bruiser Brody, who we haven't very much heard anything from since the start of the year, is standing by with Mark Lawrence, and Brody issues an open challenge to anybody willing to, that has the fortitude and the manhood to step in the ring with Bruiser Brody. And Dickie Murdoch is the one who accepts Brody's challenge. And this has officially set up our first match for the big event of the month of February, as a special attraction match will take place between Bruiser Brody and Dick Murdoch. And I can tell you right now that that's going to be not just a hard-hitting affair, but it's going to be a war. Because Dickie and Bruiser are no slouches in the ring. And if you don't believe me, pause this video and go look up Murdoch matches and Brody matches, and you'll see very quickly just how hard these two hit, and the exact style that these two had. I mean, there's a reason why a year-end award given out every year is the Bruiser Brody Award for the best brawler in wrestling. And Dickie ain't no slouch either. Much like last week with the spoiler, I'm choosing upper mid-card to main event heels to give wins, because I realized last month that I didn't really book most of my heels very strong, and with the fact that I have a lot more baby faces than I do heels, I need to book the heels a little bit stronger. And considering that last month the only people that got big wins that were heels were the Freebirds and Kabuki, I needed a little bit more emphasis on the idea of heels can win too, and less on it's all about the baby faces. So that's why the Missing Link defeated Brian Diaz in this match. Also, the other reason is because if you see right here where it's highlighted, Skandar Akbar is Link's manager, and I feel like I have done nothing but made the Devastation Incorporated, which is Skandar Akbar's stable, look like a bunch of jobbers. So I have to book his stable a little bit stronger, which also consists of the Mongol and his Bugsy McGraw. So, and the Mongol and Bugsy McGraw are teaming up in a tag team feud against the Fantastics. So, at least they're somewhat being booked better than everybody else, but still, his stable could be booked a little bit better. And that's what I'm going to work on this month, booking heels, not just Link, and not just Devastation Incorporated, but heels in general, a lot better. As now we move forward to the first and only title match tonight, as Chris Adams defends the WCCW TV title against Lord Humongous, and Adams gets the victory over the Humongous One. In what actually... No. I thought it was his debut, but apparently it's not. It must be a second match or third match in World Class. I just don't remember him actually competing before today. Well, now as we move forward, Gary Hart responds to last week's speech by Jose Lothario, and Gary Hart says, Kabuki beat your little protege, Lothario. You might be right that one win may not carry a lot of weight, but one win means that we have nothing to prove to you. So that means that you go to the back of the line and you stay in your delusion that Kabuki is going to get back in the ring with Del Tejas and will move forward. Because, Von Erich, we have eyes on your championship belt, and we want your title. Whether you want to give it to us or not. Because I am not just the manager of champions, but I am the manager of the most dangerous men in world-class championship wrestling. And I don't think even you Von Erich, are dumb enough to test me on that prophecy. Because that's not a threat. It's a promise. And if you are that dumb, you don't have to push that hard for Kabuki or Kamala to prove just how dangerous they are. And then Mark throws out, so what does this mean for your future with... What does this mean for you and Jose Lothario's little rivalry? It means, Mark, that Jose, I'm done with you. Because we have nothing left to prove. You want to fight? Find someone that you actually have something to prove to. Because you lost your chance with me. And now we move forward as Kamala goes up against Kevin Von Erich in the main event. And Kamala actually gets the win over Von Erich with the help from Gary Hart. Which, well, is much to the chagrin of the Texas Faithful, because nobody likes it when the Von Erichs lose. But the Von Erichs can't always win, and my friends, I will say that this is just the start of the sub-feud to an underlying feud that will keep going. But to find out what that feud is, and to find out exactly what I'm talking about, you gotta tune in next time for the next episode of World Class Television, because things are about to heat up. Because this is by far the biggest win of Kamala's career thus far in World Class, because anytime you get a win over a Von Erich, especially in Texas, well, actually, to be fair, this show was in Oklahoma, because it was in the Tulsa Civic Center, at the Tulsa Convention Center. But also, that is still world-class territory, because it's Oklahoma's right above Texas, and they also had coverage in Oklahoma. But what I want to say is this. If you want to know more about what I'm talking about, you gotta tune into the next episode. But for right now, I want to hear from you. What do you think of this series thus far? I want to hear from you. What do you think of the series so far? And are you as excited to see what I have planned with World Class Championship Wrestling as I am? If you are, let me know down in the comment section below. What are you excited about the most? And also, feel free to let me know who you would like to see join World Class Championship Wrestling, because I am still looking to expand the roster and continue to grow World Class Championship Wrestling, even if it means doing it at the expense of the other territories. By that I mean, there are certain territories that are growing up and are seeking exclusivity with the talent. So, it may not be the top names that you know, but some obscure talent that you may never heard of, but you should be paying attention to or learning about. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you could always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.